Are you a watercolor artist struggling to simplify the subjects? Do you find it difficult to paint from photographs, but you can comfortably paint from another piece of artwork? I understand the pain because I have been through that phase for quite some time. Let us do some kind of exercise here today where I'll be simplifying a subject from my photographs and I'll be explaining my process of creating a watercolor version of the photographs by applying sufficient thoughts on the composition part of it, the simplification part of it, and rest of the activities involved. This is the reference photographs. This is the reference photograph that I will be using, and I'll be simplifying it, and I'll be creating a representative version of it. Right. First is the drawing part of it. So we have to identify what is the most important element in the subject reference. So which element from the subject reference inspired you to pick the subject? See, you may not pick up every photographs that you see for your painting, right? So there should be something in your photograph that inspired you. So identify that single element which inspired you and try to include that in your reference. So the boat and the reflection was the key element from this particular reference which inspired me, and therefore I decided to include the boat. I have made the boat slightly bigger in size, okay, so that we don't have to struggle. I mean, painting with tiny details. Okay, so I made the boat slightly bigger, and then the second element that I will be interested in, the foliages, the trees on the right side, and simplifying it, of course, on the way, and then the overall pattern of reflections are something that inspired me. So the main inspirations were the boat, the foliages, and the arrangement or the pattern of reflections. Okay, see, the sky is little gloomy here, so I don't want a clean bright blue color for this. So I have added some earthy colors to the blue. So the colors that I have used are cobalt blue, a touch of burnt umber, and a touch of crimson. Okay, so it is kind of a very, I mean, uh, muted kind of a blue color. Okay, and it's a kind of wet on wet uh, uh, tone variations. I have applied this. I have started as a wet on dry, that means dry paper, and I started the wet wash. And once the initial blue wash was wet, still I have added some kind of tone variations to make it slightly interesting. Now we need to uh, convert that blue tone of the sky to little bit of a greenish blue sort of color, and merge the sky and water together. See, there will be a distinction added later. We will be adding the far end foliages, as you can see in the reference photograph. So that far end foliages, when I add later, that will separate the sky and the water body. At this point, I am kind of merging the sky and the water body together. Okay. And now coming to the materials, I am using cold pressed watercolor paper 300 GSM, and the brush that I am using is an imitation squirrel mob brush. Okay, you don't have to worry too much about the precise brands that we are using. Uh, the brand that I am using is Mestria watercolor paper and stationary mob brush, right? Now this has to get dried. Okay, now this is dry. I have waited for some time, and I see that a little bit of the sky or foreign things are visible at this particular point. So I am kind of applying some blue color. Now we need to think of adding the separation between the sky and the water body. So it is the colors that I have used are very similar to the sky color, but made it slightly darker, right? you don't have to worry about the precise shape. You, that means you don't have to look at the reference and precisely copy the shapes. Uh, you think of this as the kind of shape that makes sense to the viewer. Okay, so I'm looking at what is formed on the paper, and I'm thinking, does it make shape? Does it make sense? Okay, so this looks good to me. It may be slightly different from the shape in the reference, but that is perfectly fine. Okay. See, we have to be more aware of the shapes, the perspective when it comes to the man made structures like the boat, but the foliages and other things which are naturally formed, uh, organic shapes, you can play with it. You don't have to worry too much about the precise shapes. Of course, the perspective matters. Right now, coming to the foliages on the right side, kind of simplifying it into larger shapes. Okay, you may find that there are a lot of small shapes on the foliages, but I see them as a large bunch of foliages with some tone color variations. There are some warmer tones, some muddy tones, some green tones, right? So I'm kind of making them as a bigger shape, and I'm splattering some water droplets, and also I'm splattering some lavender color. The lavender is slightly opaque in nature, so that will kind of diffuse everything together, and it will create some interesting effect. So that is what I'm doing right now. You can skip some, this splattering part if you want. Now we have to think of the larger kind of impression for the coconut or the palm trees, whatever you call it. These are coconut trees. Okay, and yeah, some kind of impressions that I'm trying to create. I'll be later adding some details for the tiny individual coconut leaves. Okay, so this at this point I'm thinking of the overall shapes. I'm using a liner brush for this, so that I get a little bit more randomness to these shapes. So as of now, I have used one big mop brush for the initial wash, a smaller mop brush for the far end foliages, and a liner brush for the coconut trees, the details. Again, you don't have to worry too much about every individual leaves and map from the reference to the painting. We have to get the overall impressions. Okay, we are going for a bolder approach. I think the coconut leaves uh, are fair enough. It is reasonably convincing. Please do let me know if you think this is convincing or not. Let me know which part you find it difficult. Okay, whenever you make trees, foliages, etc., what are the things you find difficult? And if you are if you want some sort of future videos on those subjects, so please do let me know, so that I can try to pick up your areas of difficulty, and I will try to create some sort of tutorial videos to handle those difficulties. Right now, if you look at the reference board, there are some darker tones. Okay, there is no clear uh, very very distinct edges or clear tone variations for the boards. There are of course some uh, darker tone variations, but I'm not able to find a clear edges for the board. So I'm trying to get some representation of the tone variations of the board in the reference. You can always play with it. Okay, so you don't have to precisely paint the boat as it is in the reference, but I'm trying to make it little representative. Okay, so I could have modified the boat altogether, but I wanted to make it look like the reference to certain extent. Okay, there is some a small kind of uh, element on the right side. I don't know precisely what it is called, kind of a stage or some kind of a platform, right? and there is something at the top of the roof of the boat. Okay, right. I think this is reasonably represented enough. We'll add more details as we go further. There are some darker tones. Okay. Again, if you want to make it very precise, you can. But I I want to go for little sort of what you call it as suggestive approach. Okay, it is not perfect, but let us proceed. See, you may be seeing my brushworks a little faster. That is because I have made this video 2x faster. So it is not real time, but it is very close to real time, right? So if you're finding this video informative, if you're finding it helpful, please do uh, like it. Please do share it to your artist friend who may find it useful as well. And if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please do write them into the comment box below. I will try to get back with my response uh, as early as possible. Now we have to look for the reflections. So I'm trying to define some of the major reflections first. Okay, because these reflections are a little bit more important, and their angles, their shapes are more important. Uh, See, the reflections are usually mirror reflections, okay, and the reflections are little distorted as it goes further away from the object. That means, as it goes down, the reflections will be a little bit broken and distorted. At the origin of the reflection, it will be more continuous, and it will be more like the shape of the objects above. Now we are finding a little bit of a pattern here for the reflection, so I am trying to get those patterns represented. Again, you don't have to be very precise. Okay, now the reflection of the boat looks uh, good. I mean, I wanted to kind of diffuse it a little bit, so I'm adding some touches of lavender color here. So I think I did it little, I spoiled it little bit. It would have been better if I left it with the minimal touch on with the lavender. So please do let me know what you feel. Uh, was the reflection better initially before the lavender application, or was is it good now? Let me know your views. I'll be happy to hear from you. Now, let us think of the reflection on the right side. There is a big amount of foliages, the coconut trees, and other things on the right side. We need the reflections for that. And while focusing on the shape of the reflection on the right side, we should also pay attention to the overall composition, arrangement of shapes. See, the reflection also is a shape, the foliages also are the shapes, and the boat and reflection is another shape. The background foliages, the far end one is another shape. See, the overall arrangement of these shapes should be making I mean, it should be done in an interesting way. So we have to always look at the kind of composition that that is getting formed on the way. So it is not, you don't just focus on the single element that you are painting. While you are painting any single element, always keep your eyes and mind open and validate the overall composition is looking good. Otherwise, you may be focused too much on a small element, and you may lose the overall uh, composition, the overall beauty, or the big picture as such. Okay, right. I think now it is reasonably good. Any minor adjustment, if you think are necessary for the reflection, you can do that. But I would suggest not to do too much. See, I'm a big fan of adding a little bit of texture by splattering some colors If you don't like this kind of textures form, you can avoid the splattering part of it. Okay, it is always better not to overdo it, but I think I'm doing little bit overworking here. Overworking means you repeatedly do something on an area which could be treated as finished. Okay, and that kind of repeated retouching may spoil the work. There is some kind of pattern on the roof of the boat, and I think the boat as such is reasonably good. I may want little bit of more definition on the actual base of the boat, actual boat. So I'm adding a little bit of definition to that. Okay, so I think that is fair enough. See, whenever I move the brush and I don't make any marks on the paper, that means I am kind of thinking. Okay, so you may many times you may find my hands moving, but it doesn't make any impression on the paper. That means I am kind of validating within the mind. I am kind of validating it, whether I should do something or not. Okay, right now I think we are pretty much done with the 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 painting. Any some small final highlights, touches, etc. can be done to finish it. Okay, yeah, some touches of uh, little opaque touches. See, if you strongly believe that you should not use opaque colors, white colors with watercolor, you can avoid these steps. I usually like these enhancing touches with opaque color. I think it is generally accepted. Uh, Usage of white to a very limited extent. Okay, right. Now what? Think. See, in this demonstration, in this tutorial, I have tried to explain or show my way of simplifying a subject reference. Okay, the same, the similar approach can be used for a different subject. The simplified drawing, overall simplified composition, and simplified or representative brushworks. You can apply this process to any subjects. It doesn't have to be a boatscape. It could be any other landscapes, or it could be a street scene, whatever it is. The approach remains similar. Okay, so please do practice this kind of approach for your own subject reference, and try to get a simplified uh, watercolor version of the subject. Okay, so I have added a little bit of darker touches, some orange, etc., to make some interesting uh, colors, right? So I think we are pretty much done. I have signed it and treated as done. So please do let me know if you have any question, suggestions, or feedback. I'll be coming out with more tutorials going forward. And if you have any suggestions for further tutorials, or if you have any questions as I asked earlier, please do write them into the comment box below. I'll be more than happy to come back with my answers. My answers may take some times, but I will try to make it as soon as I can do it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like, share, and forward this to your artist friends. Thank you so much.